Welcome to a special live edition of Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people hate reading. This week you got a twofer. We're doing Desolation of Smaug, the latest Hobbit movie, and Rare Exports. And we bring you movie news at the end of the program. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, Meow. Ryan Preston, and the old guy, Rob Charney.
Hey, the old guy is here.
So who has the description for Rare Exports?
I have volunteered. I don't speak Finnish, so, stay with me here. Here we go.
You don't pronounce Finnish.
In the depths of the mountains, 486 meters deep, lies the closest ever guarded secret of Christmas. The time has come to dig it up. This Christmas, everyone will believe in Santa Claus.
So who wants to go first?
I want to give it off to Ryan, because Ryan, have you seen this one before?
Yeah, I have. I think we probably heard about it roughly at the same time.
Yeah. I was so excited for this movie.
Me too. Because it didn't. It seemed like more of an adventure story than a horror story, and we've all seen horror Christmas stories that suck.
Is there a good one?
At the same time, we've really never seen anything come out of Finland too often. It's not an area that we've come to know for their movie making skills. But
didn't they do Nazi zombies?
No.
My point
Do you
exactly.
mean Dead Snow?
Yeah.
I don't think that is Dead Snow.
Oh yeah, that one. Was that Finnish?
I don't think it was. I think it was around that area.
I sidetracked everybody.
In the depths of the...
Anyway, well, so that being said, the Finnish movies are rare, no pun intended. It was kind of a really good movie. It's particularly the acting, and particularly the father of the kid whose name I'm not going to pronounce.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. Pietri or some random crap like that.
I just mumble the last few.
Yeah, there's no chance I'm going to be able to pronounce that even remotely correct.
Yeah, we've been getting so much trouble trying to pronounce these things.
Oh, Dead Snow is Norway.
Oh.
By the way.
Oh, well,
okay.
Anyway,
that.
So the dad...
They let him finish.
So the dad...
No, I was remarking on how good of an actor I thought the dad was, for...
Yeah.
Because it was sort of juxtaposed with them, the adults sort of having this bankruptcy problem, and everybody wants to feed their families, and then this kid's sort of realizing somehow realized that they're digging up Santa, and sort of shenanigans ensue that the adults don't really believe, and then the kid's just like, shit, I've been trying to tell you, but you're not gonna believe me. I don't know. I just thought it was a cool little adventure movie that wasn't overdone at all. It didn't lean too hard in one direction with comedy or the horror.
That was like
horror.
I want to go back to a point that he was talking about of the dad. Jorma Tamila, I believe, is the actor.
Yeah, good job.
Anyway, you mentioned
send all the complaints to James Stevens.
Yeah, I'll screw their names up. I don't give a crap.
If you want to write James a message, make sure you go to the Real Flix Review Facebook page.
His acting, when he's sitting there and he makes his son the gingerbread, and they're sitting at the table and talking about it, all of a sudden he starts tearing up over the mom's death.
Right.
His acting right there is really good. Even high budget Hollywood actors would probably not do as good of a scene as he did right there. And then the other scene that I wanted to point out was when the son put the bear trap.
Yeah,
that was a fireplace, and he throws the piece of wood in there. After he's done, and he's sends him up to his room. He's trying to hide the fact that scared him so bad. His hand was shaking. He even had his hand shaking, wiping sweat off his forehead.
I actually thought everybody in this movie except one person did a really good job, and it was one of the kids did
the
an
Macaulay
okay
Culkin
job.
character.
Yeah, he was kind of weird.
But everybody else, I actually thought this movie was well acted.
Yeah,
I very well.
I really like the line they did between having scary and comedy and lighthearted. That's a very interesting line to toe with this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you watch all the actors and they're all really tense and what's happening, but the movie doesn't. You could feel down that way, but the movie doesn't have that tense feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of sets the tone right off the top with the guy handing him the card of the new rules, the new safety rules.
Yes.
Right.
No
smoking, no cussing.
No, yeah.
Wash behind your ears.
He's like, what the
wash
hell is
behind
this
your-
crap?
Put something in
No,
your
no, no,
underwear.
no.
Oh, yeah, you had to have a clean underwear.
Yeah. Yeah, do you have more points, Ryan? I just want to make a point of the acting because you were right on the spot with that.
Well, I mean, yeah, it was basically just the acting as far as is what the standalone parts of the movie that I was paying attention to. But I just got really wrapped up in the cool little story.
Yeah.
Of them finding what they think is Santa Claus ends up sort of being
The Santa demon.
Yeah.
yeah, basically.
So if you're done, I wanna.
Okay.
I want a shot.
We'll let John jump in because I've been holding John off on this movie for a long time.
Yeah, I've unpurposely haven't watched this because I knew James was going to see it or like demand we see it. First thing first, I
Suggest.
love the idea of the evil demon Santa Claus.
Well, that's the European lore.
I like that because the idea of some pervert going down the chimney and scaring little children just makes me laugh more. It's kind of like Monsters, but where they're killing people.
Right.
Monsters Inc.
Yeah, the Finnish have different sensibilities.
The first comment I got to say is towards the end of the movie when all those elves are running towards people. It looked like a bunch of naked Gandalfs running towards you.
Yeah, that really is a 11-year-old kid's worst nightmare.
Yeah,
It's like a bunch of Ian McKellen's going, ah! And it just, I was trying really hard not to laugh and give it away because it's like, holy shit.
It's Elijah Wood's real nightmare.
You never know.
Run, Frodo, run!
And I love this, and the kid in this movie, who's basically the main character, is like every parent's dream when he walks up to the dad. I've been guilty. 15 lashes, sir.
Yeah, he's like, 15 should be good. 15 should cover it.
And he hands us this little tiny stick.
Oh, man, that would hurt so bad to get lashed with.
And that football uniform and everything.
We play rough.
Hockey.
Yeah,
I think it was hockey.
And he has that 12 gauge under-over strip.
Yeah,
I love when the dad gives him that gun.
Yeah.
And
He gives it to him and he goes, is it
the
loaded?
dad never taught him to keep his damn finger off the trigger.
Yeah, but he gives him the gun and he's like, is it loaded? Well, it'd be worthless otherwise.
Yeah.
I just,
But let's not teach the kid how to check to make sure it's loaded.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know.
All right,
There's
so.
I
there's
just
a
And
couple
when walking
things.
towards the fireplace, he's literally pointing the gun at the fireplace,
Yeah.
finger on the trigger.
and as his father walks in front of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I thought the kid must have known that the trap was in there, so what did he expect?
Right.
I mean, all right,
I
so there's a
don't know,
goof.
maybe he thought that Santa finally made it down.
And I love the fact that he never really told anybody except the one kid, even though he found, evidence and, that. And I wonder if his father was wondering, what the hell's wrong with my son?
Well,
really
I
did.
think it was just, like I said, just nobody's going to believe me, so I kind of got to take care of this on my own.
Yeah, I think even
Even
you're
when
right
the
on
adults
point.
found out it was this real, what are we really dealing with here?
Yeah.
And that gun was almost bigger than the kid was. I
think it was.
I was totally hoping when the kid fired it, you watched it fly 10 feet or something.
Yeah, I was thinking kind of with the town and the area that they were in that he would have known gun safety. At least some form of it, but obviously not just the way that he is.
I was disappointed we didn't see any wolves, because that's what they were carrying the guns
they
for.
ate the
Remember in the
wolves.
beginning they wanted
And
wolves.
The elves ate the wolves.
And that's the
Oh.
reason they were setting the trap, too.
Well,
Yeah.
they ate the reindeer too.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Most
they
of
were hungry.
They
Like he
were.
said, he must have been really hungry.
My last 2 points was that somehow nobody noticed all the random crap laying around like dryers and stoves and stuff, and nobody noticed.
Oh, in that barn, in that building. Yeah.
Well, no, before that, you notice on their way to the helicopter to meet the guy, there were stuff strewn across all.
Yeah, they just probably thought that when they were booking out, they probably just tore everything apart.
And nobody
pretty
noticed. And nobody noticed a blue truck with a cage on it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Anyways,
And the other one was when they were going to the helicopter, when they shoved the dude outside, opened the door real quick, gave him a gingerbread cookie, and shut the door. The guy's face was kind of like, shit.
yeah.
It's like, what did I get myself into?
Well, are you done?
Yeah.
Well, my points were pretty much this: is that this movie starts out pretty slow. There's no real quick build up to it at all.
He fell asleep.
But
just wait till it's my turn.
but when it gets to it,
Dun,
I
dun, dun.
find it to be a very fun Christmas movie because it's almost like an anti-Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Which
is
is one
an
of the things why
anti-Christmas
I really wanted to see it is because it's delves into the lore that most of Europe has of Santa, where he's not this big jolly bowl full of jelly guy.
Santa.
Coca-Cola Santa.
I think he rides a goat.
He looks
Probably.
like a goat.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he rides a goat in certain like Scandinavian countries.
It's a big ass.
You're probably right. I have no idea on that one. But I like
As
the
long as
fact
that's all
that,
he does with the goat.
that the Santas that we associate with Christmas are actually the demon Santa's elves. I thought that was a really great little twist to how we do it, because the Coca-Cola Santas are actually elves.
I actually thought that was well done. That was actually something I wasn't expecting with
Yeah.
the naked Gandalfs.
Yeah. The other thing is the actor who spoke English. I loved the way that he was speaking English. I thought that was a really good comedy thing to have in there. Like when he goes, "Where are all my men?" Yeah, we're men.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we're men.
So, didn't you get the feeling that maybe they were Russian?
He actually mentions that they're on the border of Russia.
Yeah, they did.
When he talks about that his hairdryer got stolen, he goes, "Well,
It was a piece of shit.
yeah,
He
it's
said,
a piece of crap." And he goes, "It's Russian." No, he said it's
high-end or-
high-end technology for Russia.
Yeah.
But anyway, the elf job being an elf in this movie must have really been a cold job.
No kidding.
I mean, seriously.
There were more uncircumcised men seen in one shot there than you'll ever want to see in your life again.
I gotta
Yeah,
say,
definitely
Rob, I
could-
didn't look that
yeah.
close.
That's what happens when you live stream the movie. Trust me. in
It
DVD.
almost reminded me of the scene from the Perfume Story of the Murderer,
jeez.
except less people laying down and more reaction going, "Oh shit!" They're running
Yeah.
at the kid.
But I gotta
Must have
say,
been recruiting for open casting calls at like the polar bear clubs and
Yeah,
shit like that.
yeah, exactly.
anyway, the thing I was
For
gonna
ugly naked dudes.
the mention is my favorite line of the whole movie is right after they get Santa loaded with dynamite, and they're standing there admiring their work, and he goes, "It looks like we've been naughty." And
Right.
he goes, "If you have ever wondered how Santa can be in a zillion places at once, now you know." And then the response is, "The magic of Christmas."
Yeah. By the way, I love how they stole the horns.
Yeah. They cut off
They
the.
shoved the
I love the fact
Now-
I love the fact you hear you hear them like pulling the chainsaw or whatever. They do the fadeaway to the outside to them carrying them.
So
back.
what were those horns? Was that the goat?
Trophies.
Was that the goat that
No, that-
Ryan
Those
was
are the
talking
horns
about?
that Santa had.
Yeah, those were.
See?
If you watch the book, and that they showed a little book that he had some sort of
Did
mask.
he have horns?
Yeah,
Yeah,
they showed
Okay.
a part.
It seemed like a Loki helmet.
Yeah,
I know,
one where he's
exactly.
going around and dunking the kid in the boiling vat of whatever
Yeah,
that is.
yeah,
He
yeah.
had horns.
Okay, good. Good to know
and-
because they were
a
some.
horny Santa.
And
They were
since I'm
nice.
sure that John is very curious about this, yes, I did watch this with my wife. And after the whole thing was over, I said, so Jed, that's Rare Exports. And she said some explicit line back to me and said after that, "You are twisted, my dear." But
I was really hoping, and that's the aristocrats.
I have to say, with all of this town, I loved how they adapted. Now, I think they adapted a little bit too quickly because, I mean, all of a sudden, like you said, when they shoved the guy out the door with the gingerbread cookie and to go and steal the helicopter, how did he know how to fly a helicopter?
I was going to get to that
I
point.
was
when it
going
came
to
me.
say I think those aviators weren't just for show.
Right.
Yeah, and
But
then
you wondered through the whole movie, why is he wearing those aviator sunglasses
Yeah.
all the time? And that was the clue. He was obviously a pilot, and
That's,
that ties into the Russian line,
yes.
I think. So.
And the other thing is that what I was saying about the adaptation of the town is that they switched around and decided, well, we can make money off of these characters. Let's stick them all into our reindeer trap and turn them into Santa.
Well,
That was
that was
fantastic.
all the motivation for all the adults in the movie was like, look, we're broke. I don't give a shit what the scheme is. Kidnap Santa, sure, that's money.
Yeah, like $85,000. You're asking too much. You should have said $1 million. It's like, yeah, for Santa.
Oh, then what was it? 16,800,000
Yeah,
something. The
for-
kid
Oh,
said,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, $16 million that is going to end up to be. Yeah, that's just crazy. Okay, so that's my thing.
Now it's to the old guy.
Yeah, let's see what the old guy's got to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
first of all, normally when I see a movie like this with subtitles, I usually get up and walk out. I mean, I don't even. I'm not.
It's because you need your
There was
I
glasses.
some
don't
English
watch.
sections.
What happens is you end up reading the subtitles and you miss the subtleties of the movies. And that had always been my opinion for most of the movies. This wasn't too bad because the movie was kind of humorous. I mean,
And this movie didn't have a lot of subtlety. It wasn't some like more of the in-depth foreign film. This movie was in your face a lot.
it was.
Yeah.
It was. Cinematography was actually quite good. I was, I was looking at it, and I'm going, well, this is better than I thought it was going to be. I kind of find an old crank, 16 millimeter film camera going for a finished film, but they actually did a very nice job with that.
Yeah,
I thought.
they did.
And
They
okay,
have
and
HD
I,
over there.
yeah, yes, they do. I don't know. I was
It's
surprised.
top of the
but-
line from Russia.
Yeah, top of the line. There you go. I
It's
think
old
that was pretty
Soviet.
good.
Maybe we should get Ryan one.
Russia, yeah. I was impressed with how the main character, the young boy, was able to get these reference books. I don't know where he got them all from.
Seriously.
Now, I think he broke into the cabin that was there by the big hole that was dug, and I think there was a bunch of reference material in there as well. So he got in there and got smart enough to figure out what the heck they were doing. So I also thought that was quite interesting. The main character was going to helicopter the Santa out. As he turned his back, the elf hit him in the head with a hatchet, right?
Yeah,
Wasn't that what it was?
Well, no, it was a pick.
Pickaxe.
A pick. Yeah, he
yeah.
got him. So much for that. There, that went. Ryan's
He was
fuzzy.
the only
again.
one smiling.
He went
Yeah,
to witness
yeah.
protection.
Yeah, so it was.
It's because he cussed, right? Because he said "screw this
Yeah.
shit" or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
and then-
yeah, that did it.
I said smile, god damn it, shink.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, so that was kind of humorous, and like you said, the little tie-ins with the aviator glasses. Then it finally made sense because that's the first thing I saw. How the hell does this guy know how to fly a helicopter?
That's
out
exactly
of
what
nowhere.
my wife said. She's like,
Yeah.
and magically he knows how to.
Yeah, magically.
I said it's the magic of Christmas.
Well, each of these guys had a
Right?
skill
Just
set.
load these things in.
Okay, so each of these guys had a skill set. So we know what the little boy's father was a butcher.
Yeah.
Right? So the helicopter guy, he was a helicopter guy.
And then like electrician apparently, because wasn't he the guy who also made the?
yeah, he made the
pen?
reindeer cage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Right, exactly. So what was the other guy?
The baker or the candlestick maker?
You may
He
have
was
been
the
right.
butler.
Even if we got fuzzy Ryan again. Reset your video again, Ryan.
Ah, shit.
So
Anyways,
But anyway, in my opinion, I was actually pleasantly surprised.
and we're back.
Yeah.
Out of witness protection.
Yeah, I don't know. He's back.
And there he goes back in.
It wasn't a waste of an hour and 24 minutes. Let's just put it that way.
That's
Yeah, it was a pretty quick movie, which is, no matter how you feel about it, it's on and gone pretty quick.
that was the one thing about this movie. Before I get in my rating, that I actually wish they made it a little longer because they could have. I think they could have given a little bit more subtle details. I actually think this movie was too in your face. Well, I think they could have given them more stories, more subtleties, maybe a little bit more interaction.
What more story would you have liked to know? Like the background of Santa more? Or, because they explained how he ended up in the mountain.
I would have maybe loved to see the face more. I don't know. I just thought there was. I wanted more at the end of this movie. After watching, it's like, man, there's more. I really wanted.
But
to
you
see.
wanted Santa's release?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I left at the end going, man, I kind of wanted more.
Maybe you can get all the stuff that's on the cutting room floor. Right?
I'd be down
Write
with
this director and say, hey, can I have that stuff?
I'd be down with that. But I got to say, I like this movie though. So I have to. No, I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Good luck trying to pronounce the director's name.
Yeah.
No, so, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out IMDb because I'm afraid
Yeah,
there's no way the 4 of us are going to be able to pronounce it right. Our sincere apology.
that? Whoops, sorry.
What was
But
that?
I give this movie a 3 out of 5. It's a solid 3 out of
Also known
5.
as, oh my
By the way,
God.
do you guys, does anybody remember a score in this movie? Because I don't. Besides maybe
Not
a
off the
little
top of my head.
Yeah, I can't think of one off the top of my head.
So what?
At the end, there was music. I know
Yeah.
that. But
So what about you, James?
I actually would give this one a 3 out of 5. I wouldn't say that I want to know more. I think they covered pretty much everything that I would want to know as far as the lore goes. They kind of got into that. Not a lot. I think if they went into more, it would kind of take up more of the movie and more people would
And
fall
what-
asleep.
Yeah, it would have ruined the more of the fun of this movie.
Yeah,
you're
I think it
right.
would ruin the fun of the movie because this movie, as they say in the description, it's like a comedy / horror / action. Let's see, adventure. Sorry, not action.
This is an
Adventure,
adventure
fantasy, horror is what this is, and I would even throw in some comedy elements because there's comedy elements if you have a sense of humor.
I'd say non-traditional comedy.
Yeah, I'd say non-traditional, dark comedy type thing. But I think that if there was more to it, that it would lose luster. I
So-
think there was plenty of it. I think, like Ryan said, there is a lot of good acting
In this movie.
that would impress you because of the fact. I mean, this is like we said, it's a Finnish movie, so you're not expecting major acting because they're not what we consider major movie
Mainstream.
stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about you, Ryan? What do
So
you give this
I didn't
movie?
even give it a. I didn't give it.
Well,
a, sorry.
it's
3 out
it
of
really
5.
is the.
Hold on.
Wait, no, you did say a 3 out of 5. You said it's all 3 out of 5.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah,
said
you did
it's
say
a great
3 out of
movie rating. Yeah.
So what about you, Ryan?
Ryan?
Um,
Ryan? Ryan?
it is the
Ryan, do you want to go,
acting-
Ryan? Do you want to talk?
Jesus Christ!
Did you want to
Sure,
talk?
our audience is fucking loving this.
Yeah. Don't worry. Nobody's watching.
I don't give a crap. I do it anyways. Right,
Um,
Ryan? Don't I do it anyways?
you do. You done?
Damn it, I want to hear what he says. Shut up.
Christ, I've already
Ryan's
forgotten everything I was gonna say.
What movie are we talking about?
It really is the acting though that saves this movie. If the actors were less than they were, this movie would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big time.
They took pretty much all the parts that everybody knows about Christmas and they twisted them just enough to give this cool little story that nobody's ever heard.
Americans.
Didn't make it so dark to where it was unenjoyable or really terribly creepy or anything like that. It is a little bit twisted from like the female perspective. I'm sure your wife is just looking at you about every 10 minutes like, really?
Before
That's
we
not
even
the
got
worst.
married, I told her I was going to have her watch this movie at some point.
She deserves an award for that.
It was in the prenup. It's cool.
She didn't read the fine print.
Yeah, there was a movie clause.
Written in disappearing, reappearing ink.
Correct, yeah.
Wow. Beat that reference, ladies and gentlemen.
If somebody can call in and tell me what that reference is from, I'd be impressed.
Oh, everybody knows that shit.
They do if they're
Unless
a
you
fan
were
of
born
us.
after the 90s.
Like you.
I was born in the 80s, asshole.
So what was the rating for this movie?
3 out of 5 couldn't ever justify going any higher
No.
unless I saw Santa Claus.
Yeah.
There you go.
So what about you?
Santa's
Who's you?
Revenge.
Me?
You.
Oh, the old guy, huh?
The guy in the hat.
He's wearing a hat.
This is the very yeah, because my gray hair looks green under the green screen.
It looks almost like the hat that is on your shirt.
It does. It does.
It's a,
Yeah, my trademark's my hat for this show. So, yes, I think this is probably the first R-rated Christmas movie I ever watched. For one,
Put you through bad Santa.
that off the bat, I realized was going to be. It had to be violence because I didn't expect nudity. Although there probably is a porn Christmas movie out there that would get an X, but
I don't
There's
see
a lot
that.
of nudity for a movie that's not X-rated.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's a bunch of old guys. Which
bunch
is
of
even
old
worse.
guys. Yeah, boy. Can you imagine what those brooms felt like on them when they were watching that cold scene?
Oh no. Okay. What was the rating?
The rating's an R. It's the movie.
No, I
you mean
mean-
I rating?
Yes.
I'm keep talking because I'm still trying to debate it, but I think I'll give it a 3 as well.
Wow. Full on hat trick by the hat.
Yep.
I'll be honest. I was not expecting. I was expecting at least a 2 because you watch his face during this movie. It was a combination between disgust, disguise, and why am I watching
Had
this?
you asked me, had you asked me halfway through, I would have said you're freaking nuts, and I'm out of here. Okay?
And-
Because again, it was subtitles, and you know my rule on that.
You
Which,
know,
by
honestly,
the
I
way,
gotta say
ladies and
with
gentlemen,
you-
I actually warned him before he decided to.
Actually, when I agree with you. The first time I saw this movie, about halfway through, I was at almost the point of saying, "Why the hell am I watching this crap?"
Yeah.
But there was enough.
I agree.
There was enough intrigue that they had already laid the path for that kept me interested to finish.
Yeah,
This
and
coming
that's
from
the
the
only
guy who
reason I
watched-
didn't get up and walk out, because I was that close. I'm going, all right, they're setting it up. It's they're taking half the movie to do the setup. I got to stick it out.
So
Yeah.
wait, you questioned it? This coming the guy who forced himself to watch all the Phantasm movies within a week?
You know, I gotta say though, there is a difference in that, because this one is slow. That one I know is crap. This one I didn't
yeah.
know where it was gonna go.
I'll
Yeah.
give it to you.
So
I'll
you
give
know,
it to you.
there was some serious in this film that somebody actually put effort into to tell a full-fledged story. Phantasm, they just threw a bunch of crap together and mixed it in a blender and put it out.
I'll give it to you.
So that's where I'm at on that.
So, ladies and
I was
gentlemen,
I had low expectations already.
ladies and gentlemen, the next movie we're reviewing is the latest Hobbit movie. It's Desolation of Smaug. And does anybody have the description? If not,
Well, I
I'll
told
do it.
Ryan to get it, so we'll see.
Well, I got it right here. Hobbit, the second one, Desolation of Smaug. The dwarves, along with Bilbo Baggins and Gandalf the Grey, continue their quest to reclaim Erebor, their homeland, from Smaug. Bilbo Baggins is in possession of a mysterious and magical ring.
So I want to go first.
All right.
My first complaint about this movie is the CG in this movie sucks. This is the worst CG in the movie and I've seen in the last decade, and I'm talking about Transformers. This CG sucked. It was low budget.
It was incredibly noticeable.
Yes.
Which is the thing that really pissed me off, because the Lord of the Rings movie, if you actually watch it, the CG is noticeable, but it's generally
It's not as in your face. As
yeah,
this
it's
one.
not as in
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
face in this
Right.
one.
I think I might have an explanation for why that is, though.
There's no practical effects in this one as much.
No, not as much, but there was just as much CGI in the Lord of the Rings series, but the Lord of the Rings is much darker in tone and also in color palette.
Good point.
So with this one, this is much more of like a little more lighthearted, kind of an adventure tale.
I also
And
think
there's a lot more bright colors to where you really notice all of that CGI
Okay,
pop out at it.
was it the river scene that drove you nuts too?
Yep, that was it.
Okay,
Yeah,
that was the
that
scene
was-
that really got on my nerves.
I was
It got a little cartoony.
I
Yeah.
was well, but the two things
The
is
flowing
I
glow
do think
with gold when they got it all
Yeah.
heated
Oh,
up.
yeah,
and
yeah,
the way
that
that
thing,
all
yeah.
that, but that
I-
got me.
I
It was
do think
terrible.
Ryan's right on the tempo of this movie, but I also think, because I bet this had a lower budget. I really do, because the
But
budget
that
in this,
doesn't make much sense, because I mean,
because this, I don't know, because to me this had, because this was supposed to be originally one movie, got turned into three. For some reason, it feels like a lower budget movie to me. But the one thing that really pissed me off when I was watching this with my
do
girlfriend,
you think they forced it out? Is that what you're kind of saying? I'm trying to figure out what you're saying here.
I
I mean, lower budget, because I mean,
because I don't
he's
think they,
got a lot of money.
I
So
think it was the
he's gotta
practical
spend
effects.
it
I
in.
really don't think there was as much.
You know what I hated about this movie? So you watch a football game, right? So you have the first half. What comes after the first half of the movie? A halftime,
Yeah.
right? This is what this movie was. This movie's a halftime.
Eh?
Because you got to see the next movie to get it finished up.
Because the
you know there's
one's
three.
the Battle
So
of
this is
Four
the
Armies.
Miley Cyrus halftime.
Yeah,
Five armies.
it was
Yeah, we gotta burn Miley Cyrus enough in this.
So
sad.
That's
It's
I
sad.
was going to say, the thing that really big bugged me, and I was watching this with my girlfriend, and she said, what's wrong, was the fucking GoPro scene. They're fucking going down the river, and then boom, it flashes.
GoPro scene.
Oh, dude, that pissed me off. It literally took me out of the movie, going from enjoying
Yeah.
it to, seriously? It's $1 million movie using red cameras, and you fucking use a GoPro. That actually pissed me off. It was...
Yeah, the river scene is much. I'll let you go, but I have the same feeling.
Because I'm
about it.
gonna nitpick the whole movie. The river scene and the barrel scene, where the I forgot what's the bigger dwarf's name, jumped out of the water, broke his barrel, and somehow magically appeared in another barrel.
Yeah, an empty barrel. That was.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where they got the empty barrel from.
Because
That
I thought
drove me
there
nuts.
weren't a whole lot of free barrels left with all
No,
the
there
dwarves.
weren't.
And the other one was the
I
love
mean,
triangle.
Bilbo was looking for a
stuck
boat?
on the
Yeah.
side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
And-
so they magically had a barrel. I was
and-
trying to figure that out too. That drove me nuts. I wouldn't say it pissed me off,
It-
but it was enough to where I'm
Yeah.
like,
that one bugged me.
this is screwing up the continuity of what you're doing.
And the other part that bugged me, and this is just coming from a guy who's a fan of the book, is the two things: is the love triangle, and when he met, I don't remember, Sauron.
Oh,
Those
okay.
those
Gandalf
two
and Sauron.
parts really bugged me, because the lady who who played the elf with the red hair was like, I didn't want this to happen. She was actually noticeably upset in the interviews I've seen.
Okay.
So
IMDb also talks about the barrel scene being the goof.
Yeah, that's
They listed it too as the goof.
Evangeline Lilly, sorry.
Yeah. Anyway,
I want to hear the old guy first before we move on.
Well, okay, so I kind of told you what I felt like. I felt again like it was the
Like
halftime,
yeah.
And I really do think that's the way it came across to me. And
And you were 100% right.
and and we made a mistake and watched it in 3D, which didn't help it at all. But we were fighting a time thing, and that was what was playing at the time. So don't waste your money. If anybody's watching this and you're going to go see this movie, don't go see it in 3D because it's not worth it. Trust me.
Don't see it in 3D, or what's the other one that they're doing in the 40 some odd frames?
I think the 38, the 3D. I thought it was the 48 frames.
Well, it was not worth it.
Ryan, do you know?
I do not know.
But anyway, I would save your money. Go and yes, if you like the Hobbit series and you want to see the whole thing, you got to go see this movie to kind of figure out what the next one's going to be. But that would be the only reason to go.
I would even almost say because this movie's going to be out on DVD in 2-3 months. Wait.
Yeah.
Well, here's
the good point.
And the only reason
it sucks to say that because I really love the way that he's done the Lord of the Rings. I like the first Hobbit, but this I say just wait.
The only thing I could think is the people who are really going to see this, I think, are fans of the book more than the movie, and so I think that's one of the reasons you hear more people complaining is you're getting us people who are movie geeks and book geeks really getting irritated over the continuity difference between the books and the movies.
Yeah.
I really do think that's one of the reasons you.
Well, that was the thing. Okay, I'm gonna hold off because Robbie got more points.
Nothing that could help this movie at all. And again, I'm disappointed as well. I like the director. I like the Lord of the Rings series. I mean, at least they were entertaining. I think the scenes with Gandalf was just so
they were out of place,
disjointed. I think
that's
is
a good way to put it.
Yeah, it that didn't work for me. So we had that problem going on too, and so I'm going to stick with this is a halftime movie, and there you have it.
I do have a question. Does anybody know? Because in the book, The Hobbit, Gandalf just disappears, and they never tell why.
Yes,
right.
They do. Well, I'm not saying that that does happen in the book, and I mentioned it to my wife during. We were watching it, and I said, okay, this is probably the part where Gandalf's going to disappear.
But I thought that was part of the Silmarillion, or whatever you call it.
And then
it was referenced in the appendix.
Oh.
Yeah, it was. But they didn't work it out right. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my point.
It was disappointing to me, because I've read the Silmarillion. I've read all of them.
Because I've read everything. But
granted, it was like 20 years ago when I read them. Right. But, I remember parts of it, and I'm thinking, okay, this is the point where Gandalf's going to disappear, and he's going to come back, and the way they did it, I'm like, this is not correct.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going to jump into mine. My first and biggest point is, now for John knows this, I'm sure Ryan knows this, I did not like Cameron's version of The Lord of the Rings for a long time.
You mean Jackson?
Yeah, Jackson. Sorry, wrong guy. I'm tired.
Hated Avatar.
Yes, thank you. Even worse. Anyway, I did not like Jackson's version of The Lord of the Rings for a very long time because of the fact that he was competing with what I said was a 12-year-old's imagination.
Yeah.
Because that's when I read these books. Mm-hmm. I was 11 or 12, probably read them again when I was 13, 14. But, he's working with that imagination, so it didn't fit with mine. Mm-hmm. So after watching about 4 times, I finally got to the point where I'm like, all right, I'll stick with it. I'll enjoy these. Not in a row, people, or not the same year. Anyways, so I gave him a lot more grace with the first Hobbit movie. I enjoyed it. This one, I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at the way that he had produced the world, the interactions, the clothes, with the elves, the crown that the elves wearing, and I'm looking at him like, I really wonder if Tolkien looked at this and thought, this embodies what I wrote. Because I'm starting to question that. Because, I mean, certain things in there just, to me, are not fitting with the world.
Some of it's actually made up. I read something that J.R.R. Tolkien's son is
Yes.
not particularly fond of Peter Jackson. So Peter Jackson actually couldn't use anything from the Silmarillion, which is actually all of his dad's notes about the world.
That he produced later.
So some of the stuff is appendix. Some of the stuff I've heard is loosely based on the Silmarillion. Is that how you call it?
Yes, Silmarillion.
Silmarillion. But there's stuff I really do think he
I
just
heard
pulled-
that too, John.
But, you
I
know,
really do
I'm
think he pulled it out of thin air.
Yeah, I'm thinking he must have, because I'm looking at certain things and then I'm like, and then as we mentioned, I got to bring it up because this seems to be the bell that is ringing the death of this movie. The CG, completely horrible. There's even a point where Orlando's fighting an orc, and you're looking at it and you're like, this is just sloppy. Sloppy. I mean, there's a scene in the second Lord of the Rings one, where he's fighting and he jumps onto an elephant.
I was going to say the elephant rider.
And there's the elephant scene where he's fighting all these things, and it's a bunch of CG. And I'm thinking back to that scene. That scene was, you could really see the CG in it.
But that was the only scene that I remember.
That was the
really
only
stood
scene
out.
that it really stood out, and even that wasn't as bad as this.
No.
So
Well, see,
I
what-
mean, the quality in the CG just went down so bad
Yeah.
in this one.
I do wonder. I still wonder why, because there's no reason to make it that bad.
Yeah.
Because all the CG in this movie sucked.
And unfortunately, I gotta agree with Rob on his halftime thing. That really puts it into a real good perspective. Is the fact that this movie should not be a halftime flick.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be. There's no reason. There is so much story that as far as I'm concerned, was sloppily thrown together.
And I actually,
Slop.
I have a question.
It's just horrible to me.
So
I
who
agree.
here has read the books?
No, I have. But,
Here,
Rob read them right after they're written.
yeah, the ink was still wet.
My
Thanks.
question is, isn't there a lot in Mirkwood they don't?
Yeah,
go
there's a
through?
lot of things they skipped over.
Because I was
It's a
thinking,
movie, it's not a book.
Well, yeah, no.
I'm sorry,
Well, the
you
reason-
can't get all the detail.
And I agree.
Well,
I agree.
wait,
Rob,
hold on,
why are they
hold on.
adding shit instead of?
Yes.
I mean, it seems like they
Well,
added
right.
stuff that didn't happen or that
Well,
they only very alluded to
then it's-
very briefly in the books, instead of doing stuff that actually explicitly happened in the book.
Well, again, we're talking about maybe an issue with the rights, and
But
maybe
yes,
Jackson had to come up with whatever he came up with. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, but watching this one, I mean, and especially you succinctly putting it like the halftime stuff. After the first movie came out, I was excited for these. I was like, hell yeah, I'll watch 3 of these
Sure.
movies. You know what I mean? The first one was very good. They didn't change much, and the stuff that they did change was forgivable.
right.
It actually added a little.
Yeah.
But this one makes me entirely think like, oh, this should have been 2 movies. That's it.
Yeah.
You could have done the rest of The Hobbit in this movie.
Yeah. John, we should give John the floor. He's got a point that he want to make.
No.
Okay.
I was gonna. I do have a question towards after Ryan's
Nobody
review.
does.
Yeah.
A little prognostication about the third one. That's I have a
Oh,
question on that one.
to that point yet.
Yeah.
Well, we're
not
not,
today.
yeah, we're not
Well,
there.
Ryan,
So Ryan,
Okay.
you're in.
Well, shit, I got a lot to say about this fucking movie.
Wow.
They changed a lot more in this one than they did in the first one.
Yeah.
Particularly just fucking adding people. I mean, Legolas was not in the book, in The Hobbit.
And the
the
other
chick
chick
was not a character ever in The Lord of the Rings. I don't know where the hell they brought this lady in from.
Love story is John
Yeah.
mentioned.
I mean, I guess that was that all it was?
Love
Was
interest,
just to bring
pretty
in some
much.
kind of a love interest?
Yeah, they
it was,
Hollywood up the love story.
it was a love
Wow,
story.
man, that's terrible. Obviously, the CGI takes me out entirely. Like that was really the one part that I was like,
14-year-old
"Oh
boy.
shit, I'm not even watching the story anymore. What the hell is happening here? When did this turn into a cartoon?"
Go.
Yeah. Oh man. Ugh.
Yeah.
I
They
gotta calm down a little bit.
have some of the good parts of the story that I was looking forward to. I like that they brought in Beorn.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was the part they had to have for me. If they didn't have that,
Yeah.
I would have never watched the third one.
And then the other, a lot of the other stuff, and I think the reason that the Gandalf scene seemed a lot really disjointed, as you so well put it, was that they never really took place in the book. So it's people that are kind of adding to the universe of Tolkien, which seems like it's almost coming out of a different person because it was.
And poorly added.
Poorly added. Well, I mean, it's just... I mean, Tolkien, dude, had this entire universe in his brain.
Yeah.
I mean, the notes he wrote in the Silmarillion... I mean, that's like a Bible of this entire thing. I'm pretty sure it had an Exodus in it. What hobbits begat what hobbits, etc., etc. So, I mean, to somebody else adding things to this universe is not going to sound like the original author.
You asked about the 48 frames per second 3D, and that is the movie was done in 48 frames per second for 3D. But this is going to get really odd. But the movie was shipped to some theaters via standard SATA hard drive. It was shipped with a security code that prevented the content from being viewed or copied until the code was released by the distributor about 24 hours in advance of the initial release time of the movie. The 48 frames per second 3D version of the movie occupied 639 gigabytes of data.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Wow, man.
The ultimate download.
I'm sorry, that was a little geeky, but I thought maybe that would answer the question that John had about if it was the 48 frames per second or not. So, yeah.
So what were you
saying? So short answer, yes.
Well, there's the other one, too, huh?
Yeah.
So the love triangle between, oh my God, here we go. Kiel and...
Keely.
Keely, yeah, and...
Terrell?
Keely.
Yeah.
Legolas.
Legolas? Okay, and Legolas was not part of the original footage that was shot in 2011. So that answers that question. It was added by studio request during reshoots in 2012.
See, like I said,
so somebody decided they had to have a little love going on.
And the lady who played her, apparently that wasn't originally cast that way. I heard in an interview that she was actually upset the fact that, because apparently she's done a lot of love triangles as an actress and she was tired of it. And apparently she was visibly like, I didn't sign up for this. Which, if you're getting an actress in a major movie bitching about it, I thought that was the thing that really stood out to me.
Okay. Anyway.
So the only reason then she bitches is because she must not be in the third part. Why would you shoot yourself in the foot?
No.
Why would you shoot yourself in the foot as an actress in Hollywood where everybody's struggling to make money and criticize
honestly,
that?
my guess...
I don't know. What
guess
did Katie Holmes doing in Batman?
Well, my honest guess is that she dies in that... My guess, honestly, is she either dies or spurns on Legolas and something happens, because I think that's what changes him as a character later on in the movies.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So now we know where that came
So
from.
what were you saying, Ryan, before we cut you off?
He's just pissed off about this movie.
Well, I'm pissed off that they added things that they didn't need to add when you could have just told the story that you were telling. Mm-hmm. There was enough to pull from the books. You didn't need the Silmarillion stuff. You could have just pulled from the books and told that story. You didn't need to go on. I mean, the necromancer was very, very loosely mentioned in the books. And when Gandalf disappears, I mean, I think it was, like I said, mentioned in the appendix that he went to Dol Guldur for like the little investigation. But I'm not sure if it was ever mentioned in The Hobbit that it was Sauron that was the necromancer.
I think, wasn't it... I'm assuming it was maybe suggested, like lightly, but not in your face as much, I'm thinking.
Like I said, it's been almost 20 years since I read the books.
Yeah, I could.
They changed some stuff that was okay that I can understand why they did for the cinematic purpose of telling the story, but other stuff they just didn't need to do. They added shit that didn't seem to work, and then the CGI was like, just what the hell.
And so
that is putting it mildly, to be honest.
And what did you think of Smaug?
Smaug was the greatest damn part of that movie.
Yes.
I like that he talked. I'm glad because I really wanted that conversation with him and Bilbo.
That was the second. That was the second must-have. If they didn't have that, the initial conversation about the barrel rider and all that, I literally would have walked out the theater.
Yeah, I thought that Smaug's roar and his talking and his speech and all of that was actually the best part of the movie.
Yep.
And.
That I could have done without the BS runaround scene, there was almost like a comedy, like that BBC comedy bit they were running around trying to dodge Smaug when that never happened in the book.
Like a Benny Hill scene.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
literally what it was thinking of. It's like, because that never even remote.
Oh,
happened.
somebody please put the Benny Hill theme music to that fucking scene.
And speed it up a little.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So, my last question was for you, because the next one is obviously...
Well, we didn't give a rating here.
Well, no, I know. Because there's my
We're
next
not
question,
done yet, huh?
Oh, okay.
Because my next question is, because obviously it's going to be the death of Smaug and the battle of 4 armies.
5.
5. Oh, yeah, that's right, 5 armies. And my question is, what's going to be the major focus? Do you think it's going to be the death of Smaug, the battle of 5 armies?
Well,
You
where's
think
it going to start? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, are they going to do some weird, half an hour flashback thing? Like,
I see it's going to be the death of Smaug is going to be the focus.
Because...
No, I don't think, because that 5 army thing, that's going to be, it's going to be a 3-hour movie. You can do half and half and have an hour and a half battle sequence,
That's a good point.
which is probably what they're going to do.
Because I was
With
wondering...
horrible CG.
Because I was wondering about this, because
Maybe that's what they were doing. They were saving their money on this one so they could do the better
That's a
CG
good
in the
point.
next one.
That is a good point.
Because I actually thought that if this movie was this bad, the next one has potential just to suck out loud.
Oh, gosh, I
Well-
hope not.
That's what I'm questioning. What do you think? The little guess for next year, good or bad?
I think they know that they could have phoned this one in the way that they did, but they have to get the next one right. I think they know
hope.
that that's what they're leading up to. At least I hope they do. And I think they know, obviously, I'm sure enough people like us are bitching about this, movie, at least the CGI, whether you like the movie or not, and saying, we better not be looking at this shit 3 years from now.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Well,
hopefully it's better.
The way I look at it is that with how bad this one's going to do in the box office once the word gets out, because tons of people have probably flocked to see this.
But it's all
Yeah.
geeks.
I
too.
predict that 47 Ronin's going to do better than this.
Oh, my God.
Whoa!
Wow, you're out of your mind.
I actually agree
I
with
sure
Ryan.
hope so.
I think you're nuts.
No, I sure hope so, because, they got to be better than this. 47 Ronin has to be better
You know what
than
the problem is?
Got
Is
to
What world
the
does 47 Ronin have to be better than this?
the Hobbit.
this. Please be better than
The
this.
Hobbit fans are going to like this movie and not pick at the death, and they're just going to be tickled pink. You got to remember, not everybody criticizes the movie if they like it. It's like if you're into sci-fi.
I like Hobbit.
I know,
like
I know.
The Hobbit.
And we all agreed
too.
that I think we all agreed that the movie sucked. But there's going to be enough fanboys for Hobbit that it may not be as bad at the box office as you think. I don't think it's going to be
I'd
stellar.
like to point out I am a fanboy of The Hobbit.
Well, there you go.
I think.
But-
I think what my dad is saying.
Oh, speak for me, please.
I'm going to, because what I think is, I think he's 100% right. People are going to see it no matter what, but people are going to Monday night quarterback it.
Yeah.
I think that's because I know I
They're
47
still
Ronin.
going to make their dollars, but it's not doing great right now. It's only at 30 million. Since Christmas Day, which
But,
ain't what they were expecting.
They're in
no,
big
it's
trouble.
already-
the
Hobbit's already
fanboy
gone
thing.
over.
I'm a fan of Indiana Jones. Crystal Skull still sucks ass.
Yeah.
And let's not even talk about Temple of Doom.
Well, Temple of Doom was a far superior film to Crystal Skull.
It is, but I still think they both suck.
Yeah.
I
So,
think that's
you
what
know-
happens when you get too many, sequels, prequels, whatever you want to call them. You start, because what's happened in Hollywood, to my opinion, is that nobody's coming up with enough original stuff. It's off the difference. The Hobbit is a whole different ball of wax. But the other problem with too many of the movies in Hollywood today is that they're not coming up with enough original stuff that's good.
But
It's decent.
just on my
They
point right
only
now.
have faith in these big tentpole movies nowadays.
Oh yeah, hold on. My big point right now of this is, what did he got? He's got the book. You have a book written. You have the script right there. You just have to adapt it a little bit. Crystal Skull and Temple of Doom I can forgive more because, they didn't have a book with script.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So, what is your big problem? You're
Right.
Shyamalan Ding Dong in this.
Yeah. How did you fuck this up?
Yeah.
Okay,
Seriously.
and a little. Here's the thing to James's comment about doing better than 47 Ronin. Apparently, according to this, the Hobbit Desolation of Smaug budget was $225 million. Box office, according to Wikipedia, is $614,104,000. So it's gone over anything.
Okay,
that
but
47
where was
Ronin will
47
do.
running?
Oh, it's
He
going
said-
to way chomp up.
Ryan said 30.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was saying Hobbit box office opening was 30 million.
Oh, opening day.
But now I'm curious
Okay.
about 47 Run. Do you have that right up there or no? Because I
haven't
want to know
found
what
that
their
one yet.
budget is compared to what they've made.
Well,
Oh, it should
40
be way less.
Yeah.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It should
Yeah.
be a lot less than what he had at his disposal.
So, Ryan,
Seriously.
what's the rating you give for this movie, for Desolation of Smaug?
I'm gonna give it a 2,
Whoa.
but just because, for all the reasons that I said, but I don't want this to sound like I'm not gonna go see the third one, because I am, regardless.
Of course.
I'm still a fan of the first one, but yeah, this one they really missed their mark. I think, like we said, the one saving grace was the dragon. They did some pretty good justice to.
So, James?
2.
Wow.
I would give this one lower, but I am actually almost on the verge of a 1 on this one, to be
But
perfectly,
it's the Hobbit, so,
completely honest. If this wasn't the Hobbit, this would be a 1. I am not kidding.
Wow.
This is a 2. The only saving grace is it's part of the Hobbit series, so I had to put it in there. Like Ryan said, it does not change my mind on seeing the third one and finishing it out. And dear God, he better hope that he did a better job with the third one than this, because the standard that he set, he is not living up to. So that's why it's dropped down so drastically.
Rob?
I'm willing to give it a 1. I don't watch. I don't watch the Super Bowl commercials either, and so I am so disappointed in just about every aspect of this movie. You know, it's almost 3 hours of my life I'll never get back, and I'm not sure. And we'll know in a couple of years when we see the third movie. But I'm not sure
Next year.
Christmas.
Next Christmas. I'm not sure that we needed this movie, to be honest with you. I think this movie could have been thrown out. We'll get into the last part, and the story will be told. So there's mine.
Yeah.
And here's I'm giving it a 3 out of 5, and I'll still buy the extended edition. You know, but don't forget, I'm also a big fan of movies like Beastmaster. So to me, this to me this was a bad movie that I enjoyed.
Enjoyed?
I enjoyed this movie, but on the other hand, I was also picking it apart as I was going, so I was having more fun bitching at it in the theater.
All right.
I enjoyed it. You know,
Was
I'll
this
buy
Trinity bitching?
This
Yes,
isn't one of those
this was
bad
truly
movies I
bitchy.
feel like I could enjoy. This is one of those bad movies that I'm just sad that it's bad.
Yeah. So I give it a 3 out of 5. I would not recommend anybody seeing this in theater. Just wait. Seriously, wait till the
Exactly.
Blu-ray or DVD comes out. Right to the
Basically,
extended edition.
if you've
maybe.
read the book, please cherish that memory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't this movie.
Or watch this movie first, then read it, because you're not going to be as pissed as I was.
Or if you really, really, really want to wait that long, wait till all 3 are on DVD, watch them together, and pray that the third one makes out.
Because I bought the first one in extended edition. I'll buy the other 2, but it's a 3 out of 5, and a 3 out of 5 is really stretching it. Is obviously, as my co-hosts have said. So, anybody have movie news?
You know, I got some. I do have it up. Okay, good. So have any of you guys heard of Ridley Scott's movie that's coming out in this year? Or
Which one?
wait,
I think I just saw a preview
2014
for it.
called Exodus.
Yes, I've heard of it. I don't know
Yeah,
anything
did
about
you know
it.
that Kristen Bale's going to play Moses?
Oh, yeah, that one. Yes.
That's
Oh,
going to
yeah,
be an
that
interesting
one.
role for him. No, I mean Exodus, like the Bible Exodus
Yes.
movie.
I'm not looking forward to it, actually.
You know, this one I'm a little curious on. They haven't done really any of this stuff justice, but they got Kristen Bale, Sigourney Weaver. It's a little weird to me that these people are jumping on board this flick.
So the question is it going to be a remake of Ten Commandments?
I think it might be, to be perfectly honest. I don't see Kristen Bale really doing the Heston.
No, I don't think this
I
is going to be
really
as good.
don't. But one of the writers has really perked my interest. Steven Zalian. I probably just screwed up his last name, whatever. But he was a writer for Schindler's List, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, American Gangster, Gangs in New York. So he's got some pretty good story credibility to him as a screenplay writer.
So you think this is going to be like the new End thing? It's going to be a grittier Moses.
I
Well,
really
shoot, have you
hope
seen
not.
what they've? Have you seen the trailers for Noah's Ark?
No.
Yes. Yeah.
No, I haven't.
Hey,
Thank
and coming out in February is Son of God.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So we obviously have a lot of religion coming out to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really.
So
Nothing like Hollywood bastardizing the Bible.
Gosh,
Oh, he
my
did
gosh.
All the King's Men. Did you ever see that one, Ryan?
I've heard of that one.
I don't
All the
think
King's
so.
Men,
I'm
2006.
just remembering the amount of money that Hollywood made getting the Christians to come out in droves for Passion of the Christ.
Well, that was actually purely Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
He private. I
Man,
think
but they printed money.
they did. They really
Yeah.
did. You know,
Talk
that
about a
one,
loyal crowd.
I didn't run out for that one.
either did I.
I did not. I
saw
didn't
it.
go- run
Yeah,
out.
you didn't, but busfuls of churches did.
Oh yeah, they did, and they still do.
They were bussing them out, literally, like taking the entire place. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ryan, Barry Meyer, Warner Brothers, is ending his 42-year reign.
Really?
Yep. He is finally stepping down as the. He
Wow.
stepped down. He never really got in the media, but he has got a lot of things that he did for Warner Brothers over the 42 years that really made them who they are. And he's
Yeah, it was my
he's stepping
understanding
down.
he hadn't been very active for
No,
years,
he,
so.
according to all the articles, is that most of them say that he shunned the spotlight, which he did. But he launched quite a bit of franchises. He was a big player in 2.5 Men, Harry Potter, bunch of those that really made Warner Brothers what they are today.
Yeah.
And he's finally stepping down, so it's be interesting to see who's going to take over for him
I hope it's somebody good.
And-
we need some help.
and where they go with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
this
that's an interesting thing to find out that he's stepping down. You know, I wonder how rich that man gotta be.
Man, unbelievably.
42
As
years
far as
running
where I
Warner
think they
Brothers.
might go, Warner Brothers has such a deep reputation in this town. I mean, it'd be like you couldn't change what they stand for, the types of things that they do. I mean, it'd be like Disney changing.
Yeah.
You know, because they are sort of the antithesis, not the antithesis, but they're Disney competition. You know,
Yeah.
they're the only ones that ever really were neck and neck with them.
I mean, I am
So-
still one of the biggest fans of Animaniacs.
Oh, me too.
And, you know,
and those are the kinds of things that they do sort of in answer to the Disney universe, and so you can't change what Warner Brothers does.
Yeah. The other thing
know,
I want to
you have
mention
to-
is, unlike Disney, Warner Brothers was always welcome to having fun poked at them.
Sure, exactly.
Always. I mean, on the Animaniacs, there was so many jokes that were made about the execs at Warner Brothers and how they ripped them apart. And that was always something that really drew me towards the Warner Brothers over Disney, is the fact that,
Disney didn't like breaking the third wall. As it were.
no, they did not.
Well,
They
the way
don't.
I've
They
always
still don't.
described it is Disney is Three Stooges, Warner Brothers is Marx Brothers.
Yeah. And if you watch Animaniacs, you know that.
Yeah, right.
And I think
You got
unlike
to reset your camera, by the way.
You're
And I
fuzzy
think-
again, Ryan.
And I think
Shit.
unlike like Disney, Warner Brothers doesn't have a problem with saying things or doing anything in their movies that are really risque.
Oh, yeah.
Especially
Hello,
if you're,
nurse.
or like the fingerprints thing.
Yeah.
You know, so there were definitely points with Warner Brothers that they really just didn't care.
Here's another series that drives me crazy. Planet of the Apes. We got another one coming. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Supposed to be out in July.
You really hated the most recent one, didn't you?
I did. And
You know, I didn't dislike that one. I liked it
hated
more
them.
than I liked this Smaug.
What was that, Ryan?
what was that, Ryan?
I was gonna say I everything about the most recent Planet of the Apes was okay, except for about the last 20 minutes.
Thank you. Yeah,
Killed.
that's really where it went downhill. I mean, there was so much potential, and then they just
Well, I'm not counting a whole lot on this one
they
coming
started
out
throwing
either.
fecal matter all over the place.
Ugh. Oh, well.
Wow.
All right, so John, did you have any
Jupiter
news? I brought up
ascending.
2 points.
I
Rob took
did
over
have
some.
some, but I couldn't find. I somehow managed to misplace
Just
it.
look at your history.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to it.
All right. Anyway,
I am quite, since I'm going to come up with an idea. Would you guys be up for a Hellboy 3?
No.
I think I'm with Ryan on that one. No.
I wasn't really a big fan of the first two.
You know, I didn't mind the first one so much as the second one.
30 seconds, John.
Because I know there's a lot of people that are hoping Guillermo del Toro does a third one.
I don't see him doing that to his career.
I don't want him to, especially after his Pacific Rim fiasco.
Oh, dear God.
And I can't wait for his next movie. I
Well,
love.
I don't care what Guillermo del Toro does as long as he continues to do original things. You know what I mean? I don't even care if it's like Pacific Rim where I wasn't even a fan. You know what I mean? I'll still go out and see it.
I want him to do more Pan's Labyrinth stuff.
3, 2, 1.
Giggity.
1 hour.
So, ladies and gentlemen,
we have reached our time limit.
wow, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching Real Flix Reviews.
And thank you for all the phone calls, people.
Yeah, we really appreciate it, and thanks to Ryan for being fuzzy through half of the show. And he doesn't want to be fuzzy anymore, huh?
So, ladies and gentlemen, I gave the movie Rare Exports a 3 out of 5. James gave it a 3 out of 5. Rob gave it a 3 out of 5, and Ryan gave it a 3 out of 5. So, as rare as it gets.
A movie from Finland? Is that correct?
We were not expecting. Yes, finished movie.
Beat the hell out of the Hobbit.
and we agreed for another rare time for another movie, and we disagreed. We all agreed, but disagreed on the Desolation of Smaug. I gave it a 3 out of 5. James gave it a 2 out of 5. Ryan gave it a 2 out of 5.
That's being generous.
And Rob gave it the extremely rare.
I gave it the
1
finger.
out of 5. And ladies and gentlemen, next month's theme is the 70s, which means we get to pick any movie from 1970 to 1979. And next week's movie for mine is the Andromeda Strain, 1971.
Good.
All right.
Good.
So do us a favor, make sure you watch the movie for next week. And we also want to remind you, we have a Facebook page. Make sure you go there and tell us what you think. Or if you hate us, even tell us that. We might even
I will respond.
Yes.
We might even ridicule you.
And if you would go to Facebook and say one way or the other if you care to join in on the show or not. Obviously, this was a great failure trying to push it live. Not that it mattered. I just thought it was a great idea to try. I think you guys join it.
Wow, so.
But you got to push it. And so if you're watching this, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Happy New Year. This is the last show for 2013.
Hakuna Matata.
Yep. And so anyway, I on my behalf, thank you guys for letting this old guy join in and be part of your show. I appreciate it. It was fun. And Happy New Year.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, for us here at Reflex Reviews, we'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
I was so lucky I gave